try to multitask in the kitchen, and that is when accidents can occur. Cooking fires are the leading cause of residential fires, and here to share some safety tips is Public Information Officer Jennifer Mieth. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me here today.
Tell us about your fire safety campaign.
Well, we're starting with a television public service announcement starring celebrity chef Ming Tsai, who many people have heard of. And we really have two messages that we want to get across to people. One is to stand by your pan, because the leading cause of home fires is when people put cooking on and then walk away. So it's important to stay in the kitchen when you're boiling or frying or broiling. Obviously, if you're baking a cake, you want to use a timer and then take something away with you, like a pot holder or a wooden spoon, to remind you that you've got cooking going on.
That's a really good idea because it's so easy to forget.
Yep, and a lot of times, you know, you think, oh, I'm just going to switch the load of laundry, and then one thing leads to another, and you forget, and you're away from your cooking much longer than you think, and that's when accidents happen.
You have some statistics with you.
Well, cooking is the leading cause of fires in the home. We have over 9,800 fires from cooking last year. It caused one fire-related death, but last year in 2009, we actually had 5 cooking-related deaths, and they were all people over the age of 80.
So take us through the first program. It's Put a Lid on It, correct?
Right. We want people to stand by their pan in order to prevent fires, but if one does happen, the most important thing is to remember to put a lid on it. A lot of people are tempted to actually grab the pan and run to the sink, and that could actually spread the fire all around on you, the kitchen cupboards, and so the best thing to do is to just put a lid on it. I'm wondering if you could show me how to do that.
Absolutely. Well, first I'm going to take a big reach around to not get this. And what do you think about these oven mitts?
Well, I think an oven mitt also protects you from hot liquids spilling on your hands, so it can protect you from burns.
So it's better than a pot holder?
Better than a pot holder, yep.
So here we go.
That was great, but you know what would be better is if you took the lid and used it as a shield in front of you and then slid it over the pan.
I understand. So something like this.
Exactly. And the next thing you want to do is turn the oven off.
All right.
And that way you've taken away 2 sides of the fire triangle. One is going to be the oxygen, by you smother the fire when you put the lid on it, and then you take away the heat side when you turn it off.
Next thing we have up is the pan.
Exactly. You want to remember to turn your pot handles in, because children can actually grab them and pull hot things onto themselves. And another important safety rule for children is to have them stand 3 giant steps away from the stove at all times, even when cooking's not going on. It's a good idea to have a no-go zone in the kitchen for children so that they won't be underfoot when someone's cooking.
You know, it's another great tip I learned the hard way. You know, when you have the 4 pan burners, I sometimes put the pan over another heated burner so that next time I grab the handle, it's blazing hot.
Oh, well, that's an excellent tip.
It's a good one,
you certainly don't want to do that.
Okay, moving down the line, we have the toaster oven.
Yes, we do. And what do you think is the best way to put out this toaster fire?
Not with water because it's electric.
Exactly, exactly. Well, what we want people to do is to actually unplug it. But one of the things that I find is that most of us have our toasters right in front of the plug. So if there's a fire, you're very likely to get your sleeve on fire.
And you know, as I just noticed, like we're both wearing jackets today, when cooking, it's probably best to take off the jacket because you want as little dangling fabric as possible.
Exactly. We do ask people to wear tight-fitting or short sleeves when cooking, because we actually have a lot of burn injuries reported to us from people who are wearing their fuzzy bathrobes and they go to make tea and they reach over the burner.
Never think about that.
Catches on fire. And if your clothes do catch on fire, it's important to remember to stop where you are, drop to the ground, and cover your face and roll. And a lot of older adults are more afraid of breaking a hip than of a fire or burn injury, but it's really important, no matter how old you are, to remember to stop, drop, and roll. And the other thing you can do is take a towel or something like this and smother the fire.
Which does the similar thing to stop, dropping, and rolling.
Yeah.
Last thing, you have paper towels on the end, and I'm wondering why you have those over there.
Well, I just want to talk about making sure that when you're cooking, you don't have things that can catch fire too close to the stove. Whether it's your pot holder or a wooden spoon, as happened in our house, paper towels, and you also want to wipe up spills of oil and grease or anything that could catch fire.
Sure, and if you have coils too with the thing that sits down underneath, you want to keep that clean often too, because that can catch fire.
Exactly, Exactly.
Last tip you have, sometimes it's winter, people want to save a little money, so they try to heat with their ovens. What are your thoughts?
Well, that is very, very dangerous. And it's dangerous because it will produce a lot of carbon monoxide into the home.
Oh.
And carbon monoxide is known as the silent killer. It's invisible, it's odorless, and it can put you into a permanent sleep, which is why it's important to have both working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors in our homes. And in fact, we're coming up on the day where we change our clock and change our batteries, November 6th. So that's a good time to make sure your alarms have fresh batteries.
This is all incredible information, and there's a pamphlet that displays a lot of the information. Where can we find that pamphlet?
It's online at www.mass.gov/DFS for Department of Fire Services, or you can ask your local fire department for it.
Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. These tips are great, and I'm sure they're going to help save lives this winter.
Great. Thanks so much, and remember to stand by your pan.
Absolutely.